Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to my channel. Today, the title of my message is Don't Take the Bait. That is what God is saying today. Don't take the bait. And so, I just want to say that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. This is something that we have to remember. Because, see, a lot of times the devil hides himself behind people. Because, see, he is a spirit. That's why we see so many evil things going on in the world. And we wonder why people are doing so many evil things. And it's because they are being influenced by the devil. And see, God tells us plainly in his word that Satan is our enemy. Not people, but Satan. And see, Satan's plan is to destroy our lives. And it tells us in 1 Peter 5 and 8 to be sober, be diligent, for our adversary the devil roams about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And see, the word sober means to have good judgment. So we have to have judgment, which means judging what is good and what is evil. And so in order to have that, we have to have discernment to know that. And diligent means to consistently pursue knowledge. So the more knowledge that we have, the more we're going to be able to avoid Satan's traps. Because it tells us in Joshua 1 and 8 to meditate on that word day and night. Then we will make our way prosperous, and then we will have good success. And so, on the other side of that, it tells us in James 4 and 7 to therefore submit ourselves unto God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from us. And so, we need to submit. First of all, to get under the covering and protection of God. And to submit to God, you also have to be obedient to what he is saying. Because God is able to cover us and protect us. But as I said, you have to be submissive to him. See, because God knows how to take us out of danger. He knows how to protect us when danger is coming our way, or when we are being, when we get ready to be tempted. Because it tells us in Proverbs 15 and 3, that the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. So God sees everything. He sees everything. And see, God knows how to maneuver us. He knows how to maneuver us away from danger. And he knows how to warn us when things are coming our way. See, the thing is, though, we have to have ears to hear. We have to have ears to hear him. And like I said, in order to have ears to hear, we have to be submitted to him. Because it's just like when you have children, you give your children warning on things that can go on in their life, or, when you're trying to protect them for things that you already have been through yourself, because once you become a parent, most likely you have wisdom. And so you tell them different things to try to protect them. And when they listen, they can avoid a lot of things. But if they're going to be rebellious, they're going to get into a lot of trouble. Sometimes they might end up in jail, and sometimes they might lose their life because they did not listen to their parents. So it's the same thing when God tells us to submit to him. It's in order to keep us under his protection. So it's the same thing. But see, you have to realize too that the devil is a hunter. The devil is out there to hunt us, and we are considered his prey. But in order to avoid being his prey, we have to submit. And see, I just also want to say that a lot of times when we get something in our mind, if it's something that we really want, that thing or that person, a lot of times we are not going to listen to sound advice because we want that. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing that is on your mind. You don't care what nobody say. This is what I want and this is what I'm going to do. And see, and when you don't listen, trouble is going to come your way. And see, that's why a lot of times the devil will focus on the young people. The young people when they are in their youth. Because, see, he knows that they don't have the maturity of an older person. And so, a lot of times, you know, when you're a young person, you think you know everything. A lot of times, you think your parents don't know nothing because they lived back then. But, see, you have to realize that nothing is new under the sun. Everything that they doing now, they was doing back then. Just because this is a modern day, there's nothing new. That's why children, you should listen to your parents, especially when your parents love you and they are directing you in the right way. You should listen to your parents, not listening to other people that don't love you, don't care nothing about you. Because as soon as you get in trouble, they going to be gone their way. You probably won't be able to find them once you get in trouble. So listen to your parents when your parents is giving you advice. And some of the older people need to listen too. It's not just for the young people. Some of the older people, just because you are of a certain age does not mean that you have matured. Because you see older people, I'm not going to say they don't have any sense, but sometimes they are worse than somebody that is young. You would think that they still have the mind of a young person. But see, as I said, young people, you have to realize that the older people have experienced life. The road that you trying to go down, they already done been down that road. That's why they can tell you something. So listen when they trying to talk to you. I'm just going to say about, for us, don't take the bait. A lot of times it's in the relationships that you have. When you get into relationships too young or just in the wrong relationships with people, that don't mean you any good. For us, a man or a woman, that young woman or that man, or that older man or that older woman, it could be both. Just say you take them around your family, your friends. Nobody likes them. That's a red flag. Nobody like them but you. Something is wrong with that. You better listen. Because most likely the devil is setting a trap for you. When people begin to warn you over and over about that person, something is wrong. Because see, a lot of times they see all the negative things about that person. Sometimes it's the way they talk. Sometimes they talk too much. Sometimes they talk too little. Just little things that you don't see. Sometimes you can see that they slick and they trying to hide it. But a lot of times you're not going to see anything because you're emotionally attached. You're emotionally attached to that person. And sometimes you think you're in love, but a lot of times it ain't even love. It's just lust. It's just lust because over time you find out that it wasn't really love. And a lot of times you think you're in love because you done become intimate with that person. That's why God tells us in His word that we should not have sex outside of marriage. Because it's true, you will get in all kind of trouble, just messing up your life. When you become intimate with a person that should not have been in your life in the first place. Because once you come intimate with a person, a lot of times your common sense will go out the window because your flesh is talking. More so than your mind, listen to what's in your mind, your common sense. Your flesh is just talking. That's why it's called lust. Because a lot of times that's all it is. Because it's hard to find real love. It's hard to find real love. And see, you have to realize that the bait is going to be something that you really want. The bait is not going to be something that's not attractive. It's going to be something that is attractive to you. tall, dark, and handsome, or light, tall, dark, and light and handsome. Because all the time they not tall, dark, and handsome. Light skinned brothers out there too, and the good looking lady, the beautiful ladies out there, shapely ladies, and you looking at the outside of a person. Just because a person is attractive on the outside doesn't mean they have anything going on in the inside. They could be just as crazy as can be. I mean, look real good on the outside, but in the inside, nothing is good in there. Nothing is good in there. And then that's why looks are deceiving. And see, you will find it out once you get in a relationship with them. You will find out that this person ain't nothing but the devil. Nothing but the devil and evil. That's why you have to listen to sound counsel. When you're not sure about that person, take that person around people that you know that love you, because they gonna tell you the truth. It's just that you gonna listen to that truth. Instead of getting caught up in what you feel like, because that can get you in trouble. I'm telling you, listen, because this is for somebody out there. God is sending a warning to you. I'm telling you, if you will listen, it's going to help you. It's going to help you. And another thing you have to listen for is when people are giving you advice. Because a lot of people are giving you advice, but is it the right advice? Especially if it's not godly advice. Because people can give you the wrong advice and can mess up your life. For it's giving you direction. And so I just want to read a little bit about the man of God in the Old Testament in 1 Kings, the 13th chapter, because God had given him a sure word to give to the king, and he had given him instructions on what to do. And he let somebody that was a prophet deceive him. And it cost him his life. And so I want to read a little bit about him in 1 Kings. And I read out of the King James Version for anyone that wants to follow along with me. 1 Kings, the 13th chapter. And during this time, the reason why the man of God was sent, he was sent to King Jeroboam. Because Jeroboam was a wicked king. And at one time, King Jeroboam was Solomon's servant. But King Jeroboam had set up calves. Matter of fact, it was 2 calves he had the people worshiping. And he also had set up priests. But he had not sought God about none of this. Jeroboam basically was just running the kingdom how he seen fit. He did not include God in his plan or whatever he was. For us being over the people of God, he did not include God in that plan at all. He just did what he felt that he should do. And so now God had sent the man of God to him because he was now pronouncing judgment against Jeroboam for his wickedness. He was wicked, very wicked. And I'm just going to read a little in this chapter 13. But later on, if you want to get more understanding about what was happening, you can read the whole chapter. And so I want to read the 13th chapter and start at the 6th verse. And it says, And the king answered and said unto the man of God, Entreat now the face of the Lord thy God, and pray for me. I'm going to go back up, because once he had given King Jeroboam a word, Jeroboam he tried to put his hand on the man of God, and his hand drew up. It dried up to where the man of God had to pray for him. So that's what was going on before this 6th verse. And so now the man of God had to pray that his arm be restored. And it says, And the king answered and said unto the man of God, Entreat now the face of the Lord thy God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored me again. And the man of God besought the Lord, and the king's hand was restored him again and became as it was before. So the Lord restored his hand. And the king said unto the man of God, Come home with me and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward. And the man of God said unto the king, If thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so was it charged me by the word of the Lord, saying, Eat no bread, and nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that thou camest. So he went another way and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. So he started off listening to what God had told him to do. So he basically had left. But now the old prophet had heard about it because his sons, they seen which way that the man of God went. And so he went and followed behind him. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to skip down to that 14th verse. And it says, And went after the man of God and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, Art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, Come home with me and eat bread. So this was the second time that this was brought to him about, well, it seemed to be a test. So this was the second time. Okay, the king first told him to come home, and now the prophet. And so he said unto him, Come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return. He went on to repeat what God said the first time. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, Thou shalt not eat no bread, nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by thy way that thou comest. And this is what the prophet said, the old prophet. He said unto him, I am a prophet. See, you got to be careful with these people talking about they are a prophet. Because so many people are saying that they represent God and that God is speaking through them. But God is not speaking to everybody that's saying that they are a prophet. And he said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, Bring him back with thee into thy house, but he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So he basically went back to the man's house. And then God actually spoke through the prophet and told him about his disobedience. And you know what happened to him? Lions, when he was leaving the prophet's house, lions came and ate the man. So the man lost his life because he did not listen to God. And so God, he wants us to be aware of the devil's tactics. He wants us to be aware, and he does not want us to get caught up in situations that could be bring destruction to us, or it could hurt us. And see, God tells us, and so I also want to read. I wanted to read in Matthew, the 26th chapter and the 41st verse, it says, Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. Pray and watch that you not enter into temptation. For the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And I also wanted to read in James too. I wanted to read James, one more scripture. James, I think it's 1:14. I want to read one more scripture. Because God, he is trying to help us. Always, he's looking out for our best interests. I want to read that 14th verse. It's 14 and that 15th verse. It says, "But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, whom when it is finished, bringeth forth death." So you be encouraged. Amen. Bye bye for now. Have a blessed and prosperous day.